welcome. Today we are talking about how to use ChatGPT with the less amount of energy use as possible and train ChatGPT to sound like you when it comes to using it for your social media. Who here has been using ChatGPT for their business, for their marketing? Let me know. Comment below. I'm kind of curious to where you're at and how often you're using it. We're going to talk about the problem with using AI for social media. Oh, please excuse the birds in the back. We're still figuring out logistics of how to do these live videos in a quiet space and where to put our parrots. It is what it is. So hopefully it's not too grating for you. But let me know too. Like if it's too distracting, then it will be more of a urgent thing for us to rearrange things in the house. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT so it sounds like you, the problem of relying on AI to create your content, the problem with energy use with AI, and that is something that is somewhat new to me and very troubling because I was using it a lot. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, how can we use AI in a more ethical manner? It is built into our electronics already. So if you are an online business such as myself, or you rely on online marketing, there are some tweaks you can do so that you can lessen your impact and be able to still save time, which I think is what we like using AI for, to still be able to come up with ideas and so on. But we'll talk about that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the problem with AI, both in use, both in energy use, why it can sound not like you. It can sound more robotic or someone who it thinks you want it to be or you want it to sound like. A simple way to train ChatGPT so it speaks in your voice, and using what I call the VIP method, your values, your insights, and your personality in creating content that really connects with your audience and displays your values, your insights of what you do and how you help people. And then, of course, your personality and how you help people. I think that P part is people as well. And then how to edit and personalize it again, like how it sounds like you. So as you are reviewing what it's written or what it's created, does it sound like something you would actually say? And putting your own personal touches to it. Last, I have a couple bonuses for you. So let me know if you want a copy of that. I have a free list of sample prompts you can use in your writing so that it creates ChatGPT prompts in your own voice and be able to expand your thought leadership when it comes to your business and being a thought leader in your industry. So if that sounds like something you want to learn more of, stay tuned and let's get into this workshop. So I'm going to share my screen and move my notes to the other screen too. I'm also kind of curious. So did it go live? It's been a while since I've gone live here. And I just want to double check. Let's double check. Instagram. Are we live? You know what? I forgot to hit live on Instagram. Let's see. After you go live, go live. Okay, now we are live on Instagram. It's already live on YouTube. I saw that. And then let me just double check Facebook. I know it created the event. Let's see if it's actually going live. Oh, there I am. Oh, look at that. Neat. All right, let's share my screen. And what I'm sharing is share my screen. ChatGPT. What I'm sharing is the free version of ChatGPT. So when you set up an account, you start off with the free version. It's completely blank. I erased everything. We're going to go through the settings as well. I know one of the concerns is you don't want your material that you're entering in there to go into their system where then it's used again. I like to think that anything on the internet is now on the internet, so I probably wouldn't put anything on here that's still in that's proprietary and you're still working on it. It's still private. So just some things to think about. But there are some things you can do in the setup of ChatGPT to make it more private than it is. First thing you're going to do in the top right hand corner is go to customize ChatGPT. Now, this is where you're going to train it to do what you want to do. So if you want, you can name yourself in here. It's asking for your title here. So I'm going to say, it'll be interesting to see if it actually even knows what this is. The challenge with putting in a title is it's going to assume things about you, just like how people do this as well. When you lead with your job title or your business title, people are automatically going to assume that they know what that is. So just some things to think about there. I'm going to put in my job or my title in here. And then what traits should ChatGPT have? And is asking you for suggestions like, do you want it to give you answers in a formal professional tone? Do you want it to be casual and chatty? Do you want it to be opinionated? So what kind of language do you want it to spit out to you? So I like, and it gives you some examples here. So I like straight shooting. I like forward thinking. I like witty. There's another one that was in here. Opinionated. Be opinionated. Opinionated. Also, I like it when it writes more in bullet points than a big paragraph. Summarize as much as possible. So summarize and put in bullet points. One of the things to think about when you're using ChatGPT is that it does use 5 to 10 times more energy than a simple Google search that doesn't have AI. So if you're using ChatGPT to create text for you, it's using 2 to 10 watt hours versus a Google search with no AI is using 0.3 to 1 watt hours. If you're asking AI such as DALL-E, I believe, and Midjourney to create images for you, it's using 50 to 500 times more energy. And then if you're having AI create video for you, it's 100 to 1,000 times more. So I would recommend, if you're trying to limit the energy usage when you're using AI, is stick with text generation. And then I'll go through more tips. I'll kind of weave it into here. One of these other tips is go for summaries and bullet points, because the less work that it has to do for you, again, the less energy it's using. So use summaries as much as possible versus writing out prose. Don't use AI to write your whole blog article or newsletter, would be one suggestion here. We'll get more into it. Okay, anything else ChatGPT should know about you? Here's where I would suggest that you put in your values and more information about you as a business owner or as a thought leader. So what are your values? And then you would describe it out here. I'm going to just use one. I value integrity, which for me means to walk your talk. Is it going to know what that means? To only advise people in only advise people in a way that I would do for myself. I'm not sure on that grammar. So I'm going to put in that. I'm going to put in respect. I value respect, which means to me to honor people as who they are and do my best in not putting judgment in their situation. Not perfect. And as I type this, I already feel judgment towards myself because I know I don't have the best grammar. And Grammarly was one of the first AI tools I was using to improve my spelling and improve my grammar. I didn't even really know that was AI, but I used to use Grammarly. I used to use Hemingway, which was great for adjusting your tone of voice. I tend to be a very much of a bullet point type of person. So if I needed to expand something or to get to the emotions and to the heart of the matter, AI is very helpful for me. It's great for people who are neurodivergent or people who just think a different way. So I don't want to completely say don't use AI because it's in our devices already. We've already been using it. It's been around. Machine learning's been around for a long time. I have colleagues who started their careers in AI 20 years ago. So it's been around, it's still here. It's just come to a point where it's immersing itself everywhere and it's exploded. I think people get really excited about all the possibilities and at the same time are like, okay, what are the dangers? What are the challenges? What are the issues? Another benefit for AI for small business owners is that now you get to market yourself in a similar way that the big companies can, because you may not have a big team, but you've got a built-in copywriter and editor here. So it's not perfect. There is the idea of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, but we're going to go through that. Okay, so here's where you start training ChatGPT to write like you. And many other AI systems are very similar. A lot of them do run on the same system as ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. So if you're on a budget, consider sticking with the free version of ChatGPT because the other ones are just fancier with more prompts. So some things to consider there. Okay, so anything else ChatGPT should know about you? Obviously what you do. So do you have a one-line statement of what you do and how you help people and who are your clients? So those are your, what I call your insights. So I coach, I call them impact entrepreneurs and purpose-driven. Sorry. The birds are very excited that I'm talking right now. I have no idea if it's annoying. If you want to comment, if you're watching this live, I see there's a couple people here. If you want to comment on how the sound's going, feel free to comment. I'll see it in StreamYard, hopefully. And what else? Also, if you have a specific question, like what would you like to learn when it comes to ChatGPT and social media? I'm happy to cover that as well. Let me see if I can shoo the birds away from me. They're just like, we want to be in the video too. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so anything else? Okay, I coach impact entrepreneurs and purpose-driven business owners in developing their message to attract their ideal clients, developing their message, and creating a content strategy to attract their ideal clients. And impact their communities. Okay. And of course, you could put more in here. Don't know what the word limit is. Okay, here are some things that you can do to automatically decrease energy usage. Is if you don't need it to do a web search for you, I would check that off because you could just go to Google or another search engine and do a direct web search. And if it's possible to uncheck AI in those web searches, you can uncheck those. Dolly, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use this to create images. Personally, I don't like the look of AI images. It just feels off for me. So I'm not going to do that. And then if I'm not going to use the a voice mode, I can uncheck that. So all of that will decrease energy usage if you don't use those extra features. If you have the choice to go for a lower version of ChatGPT, which I think they took it off because right now it's in 4 point something version. It used to give you the choice of going to 3 points something. And then again, that uses yet less energy. But I see here, if I did upgrade, it would put me into Plus, which I believe is their newest version, and use more energy. So we'll keep it on the free version for this case. Okay, so we're starting to train ChatGPT on your voice. Another way you can do this is you can give it more information of your writing style, especially if you hand wrote it, so to speak. You didn't use any AI for it, and then you can copy and paste it in here and say, here's a sample of my writing style. So let's do that. Let's go. I can go to my personal blog because those are going to be my more personal style of writing versus my business blog, which is going to be more have more of that businessy tone. I'm also working on developing my voice so it's more me. I have a blog here, which was actually a speech I gave, my first speech in my Toastmasters Club, Entrepreneurship Toastmasters. And this is the transcript, a little cleaned up, but this is basically the transcript of my blog. So this is me. This is my writing style. And when I don't edit myself in a way of I have to sound professional, if I want to sound like me, my speech is me. So I'm going to put this in here. And before I do that, I'm going to give you the caveat that by having it analyze my work, I am now having it do more for it. So if you're okay with playing around with it first to train it, you might be able to lessen the amount of energy being used. Again, though, if you're going back and forth all the time, then you're using more energy. If you're using multiple queries, as they say, here's my voice. No, that's not my voice. This is my voice. If you keep doing that multiple times, you're going to use more energy. So there's a give and take on this one. But I just wanted to let you know. Another option, I think with the free version, you could do this. Yeah, you can. Oh, look at my files. You can upload a document. So if you don't have it in a place where you can just copy and paste, you can upload a document. Again, you're asking it to analyze the information attached, but that's what it is. Just trying to think if there's any other things you can use. You could even just ask a friend. Here is my blog post. Here's my article. How would you describe my writing? You know, if you have a friend who is very much of a wordsmith and describes things to a T. Oh, there they go. There the birds go. Maybe I can get my husband to get the birds out of here. Let's see. I really want to do more of these lives, but I can't do them when they're loud like that. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to just copy and paste it here. I'm going to give it some instruction. So when you are, what they call it, prompt engineering, when you are giving it commands, you want to think of 3 things. One is the role that you want ChatGPT to be. So I want you to be a copywriter. I want you to be a social media consultant. I want you to be a newsletter writer. And you can add in a persona to that. So I want you to be a witty social media consultant who captures my voice, and you specialize in working with coaches. So that could be a way to not just give it a role, but actually give it a persona. So I'm going to give it that persona. You are, in this case, we're talking social media. So I'm going to make it a social media consultant. You are a witty, fun social media consultant. And I'm going to give it copywriter too. Copywriter. I'm going to paste in a personal speech I wrote. I can ask it to describe what my writing style is, or I can say something like, remember my writing style for future posts. So there's a couple of ways I can play with this. I forgot a couple of things here in Customize ChatGPT. Is it in Customize? It's one of these settings here. It's in settings. There you go. One, dark mode. Dark mode uses less energy. So if you're okay with that, it doesn't use as much light. So go dark mode. Show up follow-up suggestions in chat. If you turn that off, that will use less energy. I'm going to keep it on just so you could see what it does. Archive chats. These are ones you're saving in here, which you don't have to. Personalization. Oh, we went through the custom instructions already. Memory. So here, if I wanted to remember what I'm typing in here, so if I say something like, remember this, it's going to store it, it's going to memorize that. But you don't have to. If you wanted to, you could paste this in every single time you use it. But I would just use the memory. There's another thing here that you're going to like. I already turned it off. But in data controls, improve the model for everyone. So default, it is on. And what it's doing, it's storing the information you're putting in there and training its AI on the content you're putting in there. So if you would not like it to do that, turn it off, especially if you're working on proprietary information that's not published yet. Once it's on the web, it's a free-for-all there right now. But if you want to hide it, I'm not going to say it's perfect. There's no guarantee that, as you know, that things are going to be not used, but this is an option you could turn off. Same with if you use voice mode, is it going to store your audio and video recordings to train their AI? Speaking of which, this is a different AI system, but Amazon's Alexa is now going to store any voice commands you give to Alexa. I'm just looking at mine to see if it's spying on me. It didn't turn on, which is unfortunate for privacy issues, because now you've got this device that's not only listening to you, but now they're recording it and they're saving it. So we're going to get off Alexa. We love it because it's great, especially for people who are neurodivergent, people who are ADHD. You can give it all sorts of reminders and it keeps tracks of things. It's like having a personal assistant at home. But we're not going to use it if it's going to we're not going to use it if we're going to record at home. I think I'm going to just set up another filming station in another room in the house away from these noisy birds. So apologize again for these crazy birds. Can you see them in the video? They're all over me right now. Okay, so turn that off if you don't want OpenAI, ChatGPT to save what you're putting in there. So that's data controls. If you're posting any links and you want to save that, you could take all your data out of here. You could delete your account. Builder profile is if you want to create custom GPTs. This is something I'm kind of curious about. I do have a couple of friends who are learning how to do this. It looks really interesting. And then security factors. Okay, so let's go back to this. You are a witty, fun social media consultant and copywriter. I'm going to paste in a personal speech I wrote. Please remember, I'm going to have it describe my writing style. Paste it in. Okay, again, this type of work, it's using more energy. So here's my writing style. So one of the things you can use to save energy is to avoid redundant questions. So I can copy this and save it. So just in case it loses its information, even though I asked it to remember it, I don't know if this is too long to save in the settings. Let's see. Maybe I'll give it my name too here. Oh, I didn't even edit it. That's another thing to do, is to take a look and see what they wrote, what it wrote for you, and edit it, change it up so it really is you. And you could even tell it, actually, I think my writing style is more this, and it will remember that. Or you could save it in the instructions. So conversational, relatable, you write like you're telling, I write. I'm going to tell it, I write. I write like I'm telling a story over coffee or maybe a glass of wine. It's personal, engaging, makes the reader feel like they know me. I like that. Emotional and vulnerable. I take the reader. How about I take my audience? Or I take my clients, or I take my, what's another word? I guess readers. I take my audience on a journey from excitement to heartbreak to joy. The honesty makes my story compelling and real. Okay. Witty and playful. I slip in humor at just the right moments. Nothing sexier than paying off debt. I said that. Keeping things light even in serious moments. Well paced and structured. The rhythm of my writing builds anticipation and keeps the reader hooked. Each section flows naturally into the next. This was a speech I really worked on. So that doesn't happen automatically for me. Inspirational, but not preachy. Instead of just telling people to embrace life's twists, I show them. Okay, so it's giving me feedback on this particular speech, but I'm going to keep it in here. I show them through my own experiences. It's motivating without being cliche. I hope so. Overall, my writing feels authentic, warm, and deeply engaging, like a mix of a TED Talk, a heartfelt journey entry, and a stand-up comedy set. Keep that energy. Let's take that out. Or not. I could say, keep that energy. There we go. Okay, we're going to save this. I'm also going to save this into a note file for myself. And then that way, again, I'm not being redundant. I'm not using resources more than necessary. I have it saved. And then if I ever need this writing style description again, I have it. And if you're happy with it, I'd be curious for you. Like, if you do this exercise, are you happy with how it describes your writing style? And if not, I would love to maybe do a live session with you. We can do that for a future live, is see what can we do to train it so that it is more you. And I'd also like to look at the source material, because maybe you're pasting in or uploading something that really isn't you anymore. I would be curious about that too. And if you're watching on Instagram Live, let's see if it is live now. I actually forgot to check. If you can't see, no, I can't tell if I'm really live on Instagram. That's too bad. It's going to be, of course, a very small screen for you. So just go to YouTube or my Facebook page, Coach Gail Knott, and you'll be able to see it full screen. All right, so that's your writing style. Now you want it to create social media posts for you. Let me just look at my notes real quick here. Okay, so you're uploading samples of your writing, asking to analyze your writing so it knows your writing style. Okay, now we're going to create social media posts. Now, to be able to actually attract clients to you, we need to know what you're bringing them to. Are you bringing them to a class you're teaching, a program you're teaching, a product you're selling? If you have descriptions of that already, then it makes it easier to let people know what you're doing. So let me get a link for my own stuff here. What would be a good one? I'm about to launch a free 30-day writing challenge. And so every day you are writing on something about your business, about your marketing, but coming from a heart place, coming from your values. So let's see, where is that page? Offer. Here we go. 30 days. 30 days. Here it is. That's not it. I didn't save the link on here. Let me see if I can get. Maybe I haven't set it up yet. I'm doing my live video right now. Okay, so let's see. Okay, just give me a moment here. Oh, here it is. What I'm looking for is a landing page for my 30-day writing challenge. I have a description here. Do I have the landing page? So another thing that you can do for training ChatGPT to your voice is to just give it a link. So I could give it a link to this blog post. It used to be that with the free version, you couldn't see that. My husband stopped by and then left, and now the birds are calling for him. Like, where did you go? You left the flock. So thanks, Corey. Let me just message him that the birds are now going crazy. And so you left them. You left them. Okay. Plan list. Let's see. Oh, it is visible. Did not know that. What I'm doing is I'm looking for the link to my landing page. So now he's messaging back. Okay. I'd like you to create. So let's not give it a lot. Let me just give you, let's see, three types of. I'd like you to create. Oh, I'm gonna just remind it of its role. Remember that you are a witty social media consultant and copywriter, and you specialize in working with coaches. That's me. Put your own stuff in there. I'd like you to create 3 types of social media posts for to promote my 30-day writing challenge. Here's the landing page. I honestly don't know if it'll know that this is, if it can read the landing page link. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Here is a landing page. The types of posts. So again, the less work it has to do, the less energy it uses. So I'm going to give you the 3 types of posts you need for promoting an event. So the 3 types of social media posts. Let's see. Here's the landing page. The first type of post. Oops, forgot to put the landing page. Here's the landing page. There you go. The first type of post is a script for a reel that describes a story of me helping a client. And now I'm telling it. So you've got to know what your clients are dealing with and how you get them to the next level. What's the transformation that your clients are going through? How are you helping them? And the ultimate benefit that they're getting from your programs or your products. The first type of post is a script for a reel that describes a story of me helping a client get over their procrastination in writing articles that get seen on LinkedIn, and how it helps them land their biggest client yet. Okay. Then the second type of, so that's going to be for a video where I'm telling a story. And there's another thing here. The second type is a carousel. And I'm going to give you the format in a minute. And I'm just going to say second type is a carousel that starts with the problem, gives the solution, starts with the problem, tells the story I talked about above, and gives the solution, which is my writing challenge. Okay, and then the third type is I want it to be some sort of like personal story or community engagement type of post. So I think the third type is my story of how I overcame doubt in my own voice, writing, and speaking, which involved finding a supportive community, practice, community, consistency in practice, and allowing myself to be imperfect. Okay, so what do I want this to be? Do I want this to be a reel or a carousel? I want this to be a real script as well as an outline for a carousel, And if any of these terms are confusing for you and not quite sure what that is, let me know and I'll do a follow-up and give you more detail on this. Okay, so those are the 3 types of posts I want it to do. Oh, here's the other thing. Here's the structure I want it to have. Here's the structure I want you to use on all of these posts, and it's ADA. Attention, which is the hook. You probably have heard that term, a hook. Interest. So maybe a question, a qualifying question that drives curiosity for my curiosity. I misspelled that. Again, AI improves my writing, improves my grammar. A qualifying question that drives curiosity for my ideal clients D? Oh my gosh, I just blanked on what D is. What is D? I'm gonna just do a Google search. What is D? Actually, internet search. I try not to use Google. What is D in Ada? Desire. Desire. Okay, so D is desire. Desire. So this is the picture, the vision, or the ideal situation, the transformation that my ideal clients want. And then A is the action or call to action, which is promoting the free challenge. Okay, I think I've given everything I can to this. Again, for best energy use with using AI is to stick with text as much as possible. Give it information. You don't have to necessarily have it analyze everything, because when it analyzes, it uses more energy. Be clear and concise. Use summaries or bullet points. Avoid redundant questions. Batch what you do in ChatGPT. So if you're currently writing or brainstorming in ChatGPT, do that in one sitting. If you're using the free version, I'll automatically cut you off anyway. I forgot how many queries it lets you do, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, you're done until a later time. If you upgrade to the paid version, then I think it lets you search nonstop. But batch as much as possible. Reduce any unnecessary things you don't need in there. You could do that in the settings, and as well as how you use this. Don't use ChatGPT as your best friend, or if you can help it, don't use it as your coach. If you have a community you can go to, whether it's maybe you have a group of friends who are all business owners, and on IG, maybe starting a group chat between each other, or a what's another app that people are using? Signal. But do you have a group of people you can turn to ask questions and get feedback from? If you don't, consider joining the free challenge. My vision is that we have a community of like-minded people who are there to help each other, and not so much in marketing the heck online, but more of, am I trying to, is what I'm saying connecting with you? Is it resonating with you? Is there another way that I could make this clear? I think what people are relying on ChatGPT is being that person versus asking a real life person. So some things to consider there. And then I mentioned choosing text over image. So I'm not going to have this create the carousels for me. I'm going to take the text and then copy and paste that into a carousel template. Okay, I'm just thinking, is there anything else I needed to do? I don't think so. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of curious if it can read my landing page. If not, I could just copy and paste it in there. All right, real script, the client success story, the hook. Want to know the difference between someone who dreams of being seen on LinkedIn and someone who actually lands high ticket clients. It's not talent, it's this. Okay, my problem with that is it's not necessarily what my clients want. Like, getting the clients is almost secondary to more of being seen and being heard. So I think I would rewrite this. I don't have to ask ChatGPT to rewrite it. I can rewrite it. Want to know the difference between someone who dreams of being seen and heard and someone who is actually doing it. It's not talent, it's this. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what else it wrote. Have you ever stared at the blank screen, overthinking every word, and then convincing yourself, I'll write tomorrow? Yeah, my client did that for months until we changed one thing. Okay. We built a simple, no pressure writing habit. just 10 to 15 minutes a day within 30 days. You know what's interesting is I didn't tell it this. It came up with this. Um, did it take that from my landing page? Maybe. Um, there is a thing with AI that's called hallucinations where it will make stuff up. It's gotten better. It's not doing that as much, or maybe I just trained mine so much that it doesn't do it. But um, maybe it did get this information from my landing page. So it says we built a simple, no pressure writing habit, just 10 to 15 minutes a day. Within 30 days, she went from ghosting LinkedIn to ghosting LinkedIn. I think this is that witty copywriter that I hired, so to speak, to confidently publishing content. And guess what? One of her posts got seen by her dream client, leading to her biggest contract. It's actually a him, but that again, that's something I could rewrite. If you keep putting off writing, it's time to break the cycle. Join my free 30-day writing challenge and let's turn your someday into today. I think that's one of my taglines, or it was. I don't know if I still have that on there. Here's the carousel, and then it basically takes the same information, slightly rewritten. I could actually just even use this, the script itself. So maybe that was redundant on my part. But here's the second version. Struggling to write on LinkedIn, my client was too, until this one change helped her land her biggest client yet. Ever felt like your ideas are great in your head? So this is the interest qualifying question. But when you sit down to write, you freeze. That was her struggle too. She kept saying, I'll start writing next week. She had the expertise, the insights, and the stories, but perfectionism and overthinking kept her stuck. So we focused on small daily wins instead of waiting for inspiration to strike. Instead of aiming for perfect posts, she just showed up daily and wrote for a few minutes. Her LinkedIn posts started gaining traction, and then boom, a dream client saw one, reached out, and I would reword that, but reached out and she landed her biggest deal yet. Your words have power, but only if you actually share them. That's good. I don't think that's my line. I think it wrote that. And actually, this is another thing to do is when it does give you phrases that you're not sure where that came from, I would search for that and just make sure that's not someone's copyrighted, trademarked, they're known for this phrase. I'll give you a well-known, well, I'm not sure how well-known it is, but Mel Robbins just published a book called Let Them. And her daughter had told her about this movement that was happening on TikTok. But I'm going to assume it got lost in the mix, or maybe she just ignored it. The movement started from a poet. I believe her name is Cassie Phillips. Let me just double check. I started following her when I found out about this. I just want to make sure I've got the right name for the poet. Cassie Phillips. She wrote a poem called Let Them, and then had it tattooed on her arm. It went viral. And the daughter probably saw it, told her mom about this, and then Mel Robbins ran with it, wrote a book called Let Them, which is the same title as this poem, and then is now trying to trademark it. She's trying to trademark a common phrase that went viral from a poet without any kind of recognition or credit to the poet, Cassie Phillips. So annoying. So she didn't do her due diligence and just do a simple search to see if someone else is using that phrase already. Not to say that Cassie was trademarking this phrase. She published it free to the world. And I feel like in order to really brand ourselves as a thought leader, as a speaker, we can come up with our own stuff. I mean, yes, I'm using ChatGPT to kind of refine things and make things go a little faster. But Mel Robbins could have came up with her own phrase. So if you see something in here that comes up and you're like, I didn't say that, do a quick little search and just make sure someone hasn't already said it. Because it's taking all this information that's out there online and putting it into your writing, which is another reason why I don't like the image generation, is it's taking artists' work that's that was posted online and bringing that into their AI system and training it to create images for you. So if it created a new image for you, you can do a specific type of search to see if that image was um, already made by someone else. There are AI systems out there that will check for plagiarism, and it will give you a score on how close it is to someone else's writing. There is also software out there that will detect AI. Like, it's 90% sure that AI wrote this, not human. There's like certain phrases that AI will use all the time. And the more that we actually like read stuff that's written by people and the more we write ourselves, then the easier it'll be for you to catch that. I'm not going to use this as is. I'm going to rewrite it into my own words. And then I don't have to have it keep coming up with new things. Now that I have a system or a structure to do my posts, I can come up with other ideas and just use that same structure. Just remember ADA. There's other structures in writing, in marketing, but that is a popular one. And if you do want to check out the free writing challenge, I'll give you other ways of structuring your writing or your social media. And you could play with them and see which ones vibe with you the most. Okay, last one. Let me get a little sip of water. Okay. This is a real script. It could also be used as a carousel. My story of overcoming doubt in writing and speaking. I used to think my words weren't good enough. Turns out that fear was keeping me invisible. Have you ever second guessed yourself while writing or speaking, worried no one would care what you had to say? Yeah, me too. Okay, that's kind of similar to the story it came up with, but I think I would go deeper into this one. That one for me would be more a fear of judgment. Have you ever been afraid to say what you really think regarding something happening in your business or your industry because you fear being judged or fear being critiqued? Know that especially if you are a woman or a person of color or someone coming from a marginalized background, you will get more criticized than, let's say, a white cis male person, white cis man. I was just reading a research study about how women in the workplace are criticized over 30 characteristics. Some of them you have no control over, but they will judge you by your body size, by your age, by um, your race, your ethnicity, if you have an accent or not, if you have kids, if you don't have kids. I mean, it's just crazy. And because of all of those pressures, people who are dealing with a lot will tend to not speak up as much because it's safer to not speak up. So there is a time and place when, to not say something. But I believe, and I think you do too, if you're connected to me, is that that time is over. We gotta speak up for whatever you are doing in your business, doing in your impact work. It's time to speak up. So let's go into the next part of this reel, desire or the transformation. But I found 3 things that changed everything for me: a supportive community, consistency in practice, allowing myself to be imperfect but visible and visible. Once I stopped waiting to be ready, my voice finally started getting heard. I think I would reword that too. If doubt is keeping you stuck, let's fix that. I don't like that phrase either. Join my free 30-day writing challenge and start sharing your voice with confidence. Oh, and then one more carousel. Overcoming doubt. I used to doubt my own voice. Now I teach others how to use theirs. Here's what's changed. Ever felt like your writing isn't good enough? No one will care what you have to say. I get it. For years, I hesitated. I overthought, rewrote endlessly, and often just didn't post at all. But I realized the only way to find my voice was to start using it. That's true. And then my 3 things I believe in that has helped me. And then your words matter more than your doubts. I think I would rephrase that. I don't necessarily want to say your words matter more. It's more of your words matter. And that is one of my phrases. I use that. Join my free 30-day writing challenge. Let's build your confidence together. Change that too. But hopefully this gives you some ideas on how you can train ChatGPT to write like you and to be able to help you create social media posts quicker and faster. Let me get back to our live stream here. All right. If you would like some sample, I have a list of about probably 100 or so of sample prompts you can use to start helping you create your social media posts that not only sound like you, but also promote what you want to promote by attracting your ideal clients. And remember to use that structure, the AIDA structure: attention, interest, desire, action. If you want that, let me know. If you want to be on the waiting list for the writing challenge, the 30-day writing challenge, let me know. Again, all of this social media, all your marketing starts from you, and you've got to write it down. Otherwise, even if you have an agency you're working with, you have a virtual assistant you're working with, they're just coming up with stuff, and it's not going to sound like you. It's not going to be you. And they're probably using ChatGPT or another platform to write it too. If you're looking at your website and it's the information there is dated, and again, it doesn't sound like you, these writing prompts are more like like journal entries regarding your business. You're going to get deeper into your values. You're going to get deeper into who you are as a business person, how you help people, and get to that underlying part of why you really do what you do. And then that will be a foundation to not only get the word out about your business, but also become that thought leader, that industry disruptor that you can be. Thanks for joining me on this live. If there's another topic you'd like to see, let me know. Send me a comment or send me a message. And if you haven't already, over on YouTube, I have more videos that can support you. Go ahead and like and subscribe. My channel name is just Gail Knott, youtube.com/Gail Knott. And I will see you next time. I'll be in a quieter space, and we might be starting a little earlier too. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me.